to Washington is like walking into a thunderstorm. You know, you never know what the next second will bring. There's lots of change, lots of movement. So today it's about, we've got to vote on the report, so we've had a panel meeting. Damon, how do you vote on the report? Richard, how do you vote? Jeb, how do you vote? We've got to change language in the script. Should I put in the Fed here?
Sure.
That look all right?
That works for me.
Notice I only applauded one of them.
We applaud Treasury for releasing more data than ever before in history. But we believe that Treasury and the Fed should release even more details about the methodology and the results of the stress test.
We've done interviews.
They face rising losses from credit card and commercial real estate loans, and there's still been no financial regulatory reform.
We don't yet have in place the mechanisms to monitor these large financial institutions to make sure that they're not putting all of us at risk.
We are required by law every 30 days to issue a report on what Treasury's up to stay after them and to keep talking about it, and that's what we've been doing. Glad to be here. Every word matters because we have a wide audience, but we also have an intensely focused, narrow audience. By ensuring that America's largest banks, those considered too big to fail, could make it through the crisis,
Sure.
The panel members themselves have committed to a report, and it's important that I not say more than they've collectively said. The government aimed to restore confidence. How about in the system?
Okay.
In the banking system or just in the system?
I think the system.
There are people of different political points of view who want to seize on any word to advance their own agendas, and that means we just have to be careful about the words. It can't scare us off from saying the things that are right and saying the things we need to say, but we have to say them with great precision. How far will the economy fall? Lordy, this sounds like, well, it's fallen, so how far is it going to fall? Do you think maybe we ought to describe that as, well, but that is the question. How about how far could the economy fall?
Okay.
Because that's really the point of a stress
You're
test,
absolutely
right?
You're absolutely right.
Okay, these are all hypothetical.
In the bank stress tests, regulators confronted the same kinds of questions. First, how far could the economy fall? For example, how many more foreclosures and mortgage defaults are coming?
Ultimately, we're in the idea business here in the oversight panel. We're here to talk about what Treasury is trying to do with $700 billion of taxpayer money. And frankly, what the Fed is trying to do with more than $4 trillion of taxpayer guarantees and other policies. So the words matter. It's very interesting to me being in Washington, being an outsider to Washington, how important the face-to-face meetings are.
Unbelievable. You were so fabulous on Planet Money.
Oh, thank
You just knocked their socks off.
That the world is a world of email with the staffers and some phone calls, but then it becomes very important just to sit down with people and have a chance to talk with them about what's going on or what you need or what the issues are. And it makes a real difference. Good for her. So who were your favorite professors? It's not a world I'm used to. But it's one I'm trying to learn to understand, I'm trying to learn about. Right? I could even get state song. Oh God, every time I look up and see that thing, it totally creeps me out. I just, ick. There we go. Whenever you I know, isn't this crazy? Door's locked.
What crazy?
Arrangement of office. Well, that you come down to the end of the hall, we go back out into the government printing office, and now we go into our...
Those are not unlike the other side.
This is like a breath maze, right?
They are interested mostly in the June report,
Okay.
but they also are interested generally in what we're doing. We will turn to the Q&A, and Joe worked on that.
Okay,
so
Joe.
We will let
So
him
it
roll.
should be in your book under Q&A. These are the issues we think that could come up at the hearing. Recycling, the issue of recycling.
Yes.
How will this repaid TARP money be used? Will it be recycled in new lending, or will it go back to the Treasury? What will be the use of this returned TARP money?
The short version of the issue on recycling is the statute is probably at best ambiguous, which leaves Treasury a lot of room here.
I think that the statute is at best ambiguous on whether this money can be recycled or whether this money must be returned to the Treasury.
Is that giving away too much? Seems to me to be the truth.
And given the ambiguity, the Treasury Department certainly at least has grounds for interpreting it the way they want to interpret it. So I think that's what they're going to do with the money unless Congress tells them differently.
Just how effective the panel has been over the past 6 months of your existence. How many hearings have you held with the Treasury Department as a witness? I understand it's only one.
We've been able to get Secretary Geithner in to testify once. We asked Secretary Paulson repeatedly. We have asked Secretary Geithner repeatedly. You know, I remind you, Congress did not give us subpoena power. We only have the capacity to invite.
I think the panel needs to be abolished, and it needs to be reconstituted in a form that will actually create real insight and real analysis of a program that has only grown larger. Now, with the repayment of the financial dollars, begins to be a revolving slush fund for use of the original TARP dollars. So that's my feeling on this issue.
I've never heard that.
Wow.
And so I was really surprised. And I actually went to his office afterwards. It was very helpful to listen to him and really sit down. I think I was in there 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. We had a very serious conversation about this, and a very cordial conversation. I respect his point of view on this, and I understand the things that he is concerned about. We share a lot of the same concerns. So.
There is no history for this job. There's no history for this crisis. There's no history for how we set up to deal with this crisis. The notion that Treasury had an almost blank check and how it would spend $700 billion, but that they set up this oversight panel at the same time. So it's all new. We're, at some level, I think we're inventing this as we go along. You know, as Treasury does something, we do something in response. As the economy shifts in one direction, we try to shift along with it. But in another sense, this isn't all new. These are basic principles at work. There really is a notion that if our government is going to spend our dollars, we ought to be transparent about it. We ought to know what the heck they're up to.